Okay. Playing the comparison game doesn't even make sense if you zoom out and you think about, well, at least my perspective of free will is that nobody ever had any control over how they got to where they are. They were born into an environment, had no choice over that. They were raised in an environment that they had no choice, no control over. They had no control over their biology. Our biology interacts with our environment, and that's how we make choices. We collect information, and then we act on that information. And so, when you compare yourself to somebody else, you kind of give them credit for where they are. And it's kind of a funny thing because this should be humbling to a lot of people who, it's like people who are like remarkable at what they do. They didn't even choose that. It seems like they did, but in my opinion, they did not choose that. They were influenced by their environment in ways that took them there. But it wasn't up to them. And who you are isn't up to you. It's kind of this like fucked up thing where like you almost want to give up. But what I also believe is that the feeling, the experience of free will is an evolutionary utility, meaning it is important, it is critical for the survival of the human race. Meaning, like, if we didn't think we had free will, then we wouldn't do anything. We would just give up. We wouldn't try. We wouldn't wake up every day and like try to do something. So there is like a magic to believing that we do have free will or acting like we do. It's like, I don't think we have free will, but I do behave as if we do. And that's an interesting paradox. But, if I want to get a tangent, maybe there's something about the multiverse in this where, like, maybe what free will is bouncing around the multiverse. And maybe this is why we're like spiritual, like, a lot of people talk about like interdimensional beings. Like, we're kind of getting beyond like what we actually understand. But, I think that maybe that's kind of fun. Like I said, there's some magic to it. And so maybe I kind of like this idea that free will, when you tap into it, you or tap into choice and your intelligence and your understanding of the world, and like the more awareness you gain, the more power you have to kind of move around in the multiverse and kind of direct yourself. So it's like maybe we don't have free will in each individual pathway, but the more awareness we gain, the more influence we have on like which universe we're in, which is kind of fun to think about. But there is another theory about free will, which is like free will as agency, meaning like there's a default behavior that you have where you are purely just in biology. Your biology is purely just interacting with your environment, and like that's your agency is minimal because you don't have the awareness that you're reacting. This is more like reacting. And the more awareness that you gain, the more agency you have over what you're doing, more control over where you're going. And I do kind of like this as well. And this kind of, I think, leans more into my idea of why we should be sharing. It's because the more we understand, the more awareness that we bring, then you have more options, basically. And it's so important for, like, we move faster if we share. We move faster if we share our experience. And another part of this is that there is a famous philosopher, I think it was Karl Popper, who said something along the lines of, there is no way in which you can speak that you will not be misunderstood. There is no way that you can speak in which you will not be misunderstood. Meaning, you can say the most intricate sentence, but the person who's hearing that sentence is only going to experience it through their lens, and they're going to understand it in a way that's different than you. And so, which means 3 different people could say the exact same words in the exact same tone. And those, oh my God, people are driving like fucking idiots right now. The 5 is a fucking disaster right now. Barf. Okay, so, how do I bring this all together? So, three people could say the exact same words in the exact same tonality, but because of how they look, how they sound, those words are going to influence people in different ways. And that's why people are talking about you are your own unique self. Your own unique self. You could have the exact same message as another influencer, but because it's you, it will resonate with different people. That is fucking powerful. And it should be remembered that you are a unique person. Only you can say what you have to say. And it will impact people differently than what that person is saying. And that should just wipe out your, what's it called? Imposter syndrome. And I know it doesn't immediately, but just think about that, you know? Like, you gotta share. It's like open sourcing the human experience. The more we share, the more awareness we spread, the faster we grow, the better we are. Especially in this age of AI where things are moving so fast and safety is of utmost importance. Awareness is the only way we can have more agency over the way we interact with this technology, the way we interact with each other. Like there's, all this safety about, children, being exposed to this. Well, educate your children. Educate yourself. The answer is not to avoid these things. Things are inherently neutral. Social media is inherently neutral. AI is inherently neutral. It's how you interact with it that is going to have the most impact. So if you're concerned about your kids interacting with it, interact with it with them. Educate them. Be real with them. I mean, I don't have kids. I'm not a parent. So take this with a grain of salt, obviously. But that's the way I feel about it. Like we are solely responsible for our experience. Things don't make us feel a certain way. We feel a certain way about things. Things happen and we feel a way about it. It's not that thing happened and it made me feel this way. It's I feel this thing about this way about this thing. And owning that puts all the responsibility in your hands. And it's empowering and can be a little daunting because then you've got a lot to be concerned about and you have to work to stay aware but then you have so much more power, so much more control, so much more agency over your life. And that's a better place to be. You can live a better life for yourself. You can be a better person for the people around you. I don't even know what else to say about that. So I'm just gonna stop it there for now. I think this was great. And it was fun. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.